Hey guys, Uncle Ray. Welcome to another episode of the Crypto Bellwether. The goal of this channel is to get you in that 10% club of people that make money. 90% of everyone investing in crypto lose money. And I want to change that. And not only do I want to get you out of the 90%, hopefully we can get you to make life-changing gains. So I'm going to throw some alpha at you that will probably shock you. Now I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant, so bear with me. But then we're going to talk about AERODROME, which I believe is definitely one of the best tokens that you could stack for the remainder of this bull run, especially when it comes to the best risk reward. Now, there's probably not going to be life-changing gains like a 50 or 100x or anything like that, but I think it's a very, very sound project, and I think it's going to outperform a lot of tokens, especially the older tokens that have been around for a while. That being said, hit the like button and let's get into that rant. Now, guys, I want you to think about something, because I find that being a crypto influencer is like being a politician. It's weird to me that truth doesn't sell. There's a lot of tribalism in crypto, right? And when you say something that is backed up by facts and data, you get a lot of hate. Now, I want you to think about something. And I'm not going to pick any influencers or anything. How many influencers have told you whatever token that's been around for a bull run or two that's going to lead this bull run? Now, think about whatever that token is. Now, let's contrast that to someone that's honest, like myself. I'd like to think that I'm very honest, and therefore I don't always tell you what you want to hear. But I've been saying since day one of creating this channel that if you want to make life-changing gains, you need to play the probabilities and the odds, put them in your favor, and that the life-changing gains come from new projects that have never experienced a bull run in hot sectors. So we know the hot sectors that everyone should have a token in my opinion. You need something in AI, you need an AI agent, you need something in gaming, you need a hot meme coin, and you need something in the base ecosystem. And also, for sure, you need an RWA token. And that gives you the best probability. Now, so think about that. And I'm going to back that statement up with some facts and data that will probably shock you. But here's what I'm going to make a statement. And I say this with love, but I take my money really serious. And I find influencers to either be very naive or dishonest or both. And so the reason that's important, guys, if someone lies to me, gives me blatant wrong information, we can't be friends, and I definitely don't want to hear anything else you have to say, honestly, about anything, but especially about my money. Now, let me show you something that is going to shock you. Now, there's been a few tokens that have done well in this bull run that are older, but the life-changing gains, no matter what token it is, whether it's SHIBA or AERODROME or Ethereum or Binance or DOGE or XRP or Solana, the life-changing gains came in its first bull run. It gets less in its second bull run, way less in its third, and its fourth and its fifth. That's just 100% fact. There's never been an exception. Now, let me throw some stats that will freak you out, and then we are going to get into AERODROME. The number one token in history, if you got in early, day one basically, is Bitcoin. But I don't include Bitcoin because it's not an altcoin. But check this out, guys. If you got in early on SHIBA, right? So think about the founders and the early developers. If they put in $1 of SHIBA, how much money do you think that turned into in its first bull run? $109 billion. No, that can't be right. $1.9 million. Basically almost $2 billion. Now, no, it is $109 billion. Think about that. AERODROME, if you put in $1 from day one, got it when it first issued, $3.4 billion. Ethereum, $1.1 billion. Binance, $1.8 billion. Okay, let me back up. Ethereum was $1.13 billion. Dogecoin was $840 million. XRP was $126 million. Solana was $58 million. So think about that, guys. What old token are going to even do a million eggs or 1,000 eggs? Zero. So think about that when people tell you whatever token is going to lead this bull run. It's not even on the list. Who lead? It's an impossibility. That kind of BS drives me insane. So remember that, guys, especially when you start stacking if you're around for the next bull run. If you got a big bag and you want to make a 10, 15, maybe 20x, buy the old tokens. But if you want to make life-changing gains with small amount of money, don't listen to the hype and the straight out lies and BS of people that tell you to buy the old tokens, no matter how sexy the story is. All right, that being said, let's dive into AERODROME. Look at this chart, guys. Here's the life-changing gains. The people that bought back in here, the life-changing gains were right there. They already made immense amount of money. But if you bought right here, you still got 5, 6, 10x. Okay? If you missed it, same thing. You had another opportunity. And now, I think you have another opportunity. Now, it's not going to be life-changing gains. But here's the bet. And let me back up real quick. Notice the only token that's positive. Note there's one more token there's two tokens that are positive. But AERO is up almost 10% while everything else is crashing. There's not an old token doing well right now, for whatever that's worth. But let's back up. Okay. So I believe that AERODROME is going to do extremely well for the remainder of this bull run. It is not going to turn $1,000 and make you a millionaire, but it could do well. Maybe a 7x, 10x, or more. And I'm going to back that up with real data that it could do more. I'm not saying it will, and I won't be around even if it does, or unless it will only be for a little bit of the money I have left in. But look at this, guys. Right now, okay, it is the top DEX on base. We know, or at least I know, that Wall Street is going to take over crypto. And that 99% of all these tokens are going to disappear, especially the so-called utility tokens that don't make any money. Look at Coinbase for your guide. Right now, Wall Street, all of it. I mean, Google and Amazon, I believe, just announced they're looking into their own stable coins. Do you think they'll dominate? Look at all their customers. JP Morgan, dominating crypto. I could go on and on, but that's irrelevant. But here's the thing. Coinbase is a powerhouse, and they clone the OP stack. OP is irrelevant. There's no reason to ever invest in OP when you can invest in Coinbase, right? They clone the tech, It's just software and code. And now they dominate the layer 2 sector. OP will become irrelevant. That's going to happen across the board, in my opinion. But look at this. AERODROME is the best way to invest in Coinbase unless you want to buy the stock, because it's the leading DEX. And it has 950 million total value locked and 63% market share by volume of layer 2s. Guys, that's off the chart. And again, we know because that Coinbase is going to onboard more people than probably any other exchange, including Binance. And they're going to end up using AERODROME. Probably. A lot of them will. Okay? So the trading volume is exploding. They have increased in the last month from 94 million in 24 hours to 1.2 billion. That's massive, guys. All right. It has done over 10 million in revenue of new tokens issued, and it's made 7.8 million just over the 3-day holiday. Now, I want to put that in perspective, guys. A lot of people tell you that, whatever utility token's going to rule the world. Well, I got news for you. You can't rule the world without making money to support your ecosystem. And Base makes more in a day than, say, XLM, Algorand, HBAR, and XRP make in a year combined. Which one do you think has the biggest future? That's just my opinion. So therefore, guys, we know this thing is one of the best projects ever, right? You compare that to the ones I mentioned, XRP, Dogecoin, SHIBA, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Binance. Well, this is AERODROME's first bull run, and it's already in the league of those projects. I'm going to be stacking. I'm already stacking. All right, let's look at something realistically. I want to give you real data that makes sense. I don't care what you do with your money, guys. I just want you to see the big picture and you decide. But guys, if you're not familiar with market cap of, this can give you a real number, and it may be optimistic, but at least it gets you in the ballpark and will help you get a game plan of taking profits. All right. If you take where AERODROME is right now and you compare where Uniswap, which is a powerhouse DEX, which has a lot more competition right now, and it's across multiple chains. However, if you say, well, I bet that AERODROME can at least get to where Uniswap is today. Just today. Because it's way beaten down from its all-time high. Well, what would that provide? Well, that means it's realistic to say that AERODROME could do an 8x from here. Not life-changing gains, but you put in 10,000, you make 80. Not bad, right? Now, what if it could hit where Uniswap hit in the last bull run? Not where Uniswap will probably go in this bull run. Guys, that's a 41x. So I'm not saying that this thing's going to make a 41x. If you put in 10,000, you make, $400,000, $500,000. I don't think that's going to happen. Could it? Absolutely. And if I was one of those influencers, want to tell you what you want to hear, I would tell you that's the minimum. But realistically, guys, I don't think it's taken out its all-time high for this bull run at all. And I think it could do what Uniswap is doing right now when it's beat down. So we're going to start with, say an 8x. And then somewhere between the 8x and the 40x. So realistically, if you said, could AERODROME do a 20x from here? I think that's a very normal statement and thought process. Now, that being said, when I look at this chart, for me, I've already been stacking. I'm going to stack the pullbacks. I'm not going to buy it today because it ran yesterday and it's running today. But I want to buy somewhere around 50 cents or lower. When it takes out its old all-time high of, say, let's just say 250, right? What is that? A 5X. I will be out minimum 75%. No matter what, I will have my initial investment out. How much I leave in, if any, after that, we'll just see if we're in altcoin season, what the world looks like, what the everything looks like. So anyway, guys, that's my thought process on AERODROME, and across the board, hopefully, guys, that gave you some alpha. Be careful who you listen to. You don't have to listen to me. I often say that. I highly recommend you listen to people I listen to. But no matter what, guys, if someone's going to lie to you or sugarcoat something that is negative about your money, and they can't do math and tokenomics, and they tell you mathematic probabilities that literally cannot happen, that's why you're going to be in the 90% club. We want to change that. And if you need some help and need someone to look at your portfolio, or if you need some help just understanding how to build a portfolio or how to dollar cost average in or out, how to compare these projects, understand tokenomics, guys, I have a coaching program with 3 Zoom calls. We go through your portfolio and answer all those. But I also put all that information into a course, and you get the same outcome, but you got to do the work. But it's a great way to learn. And then I walk through your portfolio with you and answer any questions at the end. And it's a great value. Now, I also have what I believe is the best shorting course on the planet. It's been very successful for me, and we are killing it in our inner circle, which I also have. And guys, whether you take me up on any of this or not, consider learning to short, especially if you're a hodler. You can at least learn to hedge your portfolio. But I believe shorting is the best way to make money on the planet. Bar none, it's the most consistent, because cryptos are not stocks. They're commodities. And when they start to rip, you just get to shorting, right? You take your profits and you flip the script, right? I said I've made multiple announcements in the Dino tokens at the end of the year and the first of the year when they started to rip. I told everyone to take profits. People looked at me like I had 2 heads. Not only did I sell out of my Dino tokens, like HBAR, I probably put on 375 scalp shorts in 2 months. Nailed it. I just shorted Bitcoin 2 weeks ago when it made a new all-time high. Why is that? Because I understand the game. Guys, if you don't take profits, you will become the prophets. Because big money is here. Big money doesn't put in $1,000 expecting a 50x. They put in $100 million. And they make 30% the day they're already getting out. They make 2, 3x. You can guarantee they are going to take their profits. Bitcoin went down to what? 90, 95 a month ago, and then it rallied to a new all-time high. What do you think is going to happen? Guys make put in $100 million of Bitcoin? You think they're just going to hold it? Guys, if they make 30%, that's 5 years in the S&P. Big boys are here. You got to learn to think like them. Anyway, I don't want to get on my high horse or my rant, but guys, if you need some help, reach out. But no matter what, guys, remember, if the majority were right, the majority be rich. And the majority in crypto is 90% lose money. So remember that. When everyone you go surf around and look for confirmation bias from your favorite influencer that told you to whatever's going to lead the bull run, which is an improbability, if it wasn't a new token, it's impossible. It can't happen. Right? Just like some of the tokenomics, they're impossible mathematically. Anyway, I don't want to get on my high horse. Hit the like button. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Does any of this make sense? And are you stacking AERODROME? But either way, guys, come back. Be part of this community. we're going to get you in that 10% club if I have anything to do with it. Not financial advice, but I can't be more bullish, and I'm here for you, and you're going to get wrecked, and you really don't have much of a chance outside of a little bit of luck if you're getting lied to and people are giving you misinformation and probabilities that aren't probable. Take care, guys.